Welcome to Urging International of HACCP course, Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point based on Codex, International Food Standard.
What is hazard? Hazard. A potential source of harm or adverse health effect on a person or persons called hazard. HACCP is a management system in which food safety is addressed through the analysis and control of biological, chemical, and physical hazards from raw material production, procurement and handling, to manufacturing, distribution and consumption of the finished product. It's designed for use in all segments of the food industry from growing, harvesting, processing, manufacturing, distributing, and merchandising to preparing food for consumption. History. The HACCP concept was first developed in the 1960s by the U.S. National Aeronautics and Space Administration, working with Pillsbury to ensure crumb and pathogen-free food that had extensive shelf life properties for space travel. It is the first pathogen monitoring and measurement requirement imposed on the food industry. The NASA HACCP program imposed strict pathogen limits on foods, required cumbersome testing procedures, which let little of the food produced pass pathogen control. As a result, this system required modification in order to be practical for commercial food production. To assist with this goal, NASA requested help from food industry companies, including Pillsbury, who first developed the HACCP approach. The implementation of this program allowed for the reduction of risk related to foodborne pathogens in food, although the original HACCP plan only consisted of 3 principles as opposed to the 7 we know today. In the spring of 1971, HACCP was presented to the food industry for the first time at the first National Conference on Food Protection. The following year, Pillsbury began teaching HACCP classes to Food and Drug Administration inspectors, and HACCP was implemented in low-acid canning regulation. Following a 1980 World Health Organization and International Commission on Microbiological Safety of Foods report on HACCP, and WHO Europe recommended its use in 1983. In 1985, the National Academy of Science concluded that HACCP, as opposed to another common idea of random testing of foods, that was an adequate method of ensuring wholesome food. 1985, formation of the National Advisory Committee on Microbiological Criteria for Foods, who further encouraged adoption of HACCP through the development and publication of resources based on education and implementation of the idea. The 1992 revision of this document from National Advisory Committee on Microbiological Criteria for Foods presented the 7 core principles central to HACCP for the first time. 1993 adoption of the guidelines for the application of the Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point system by the Codex Alimentarius Commission. It's an international intergovernmental body in the Joint Food Standards Program, established by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and WHO. International HACCP Alliance was formed on 1994 and based at Texas A&M University. The purpose of the alliance was to provide a uniform program for safer meat and poultry products and to bring together industry associations, educational foundations, professional organizations, university experts, government cooperators both within the United States and international, and third-party private companies. International HACCP Alliance, originally targeting a 3-pronged approach. The alliance provides an avenue for training and research. It makes available incentives and resources for early adoption, and it serves as a unified communicator of HACCP role in food safety through food production. International standard development of food safety with HACCP. During this time frame, and in parallel, Both of the voluntary standards known as Safe Quality Foods Programme developed on 1994 and the British Retail Consortium in England developed on 1998, eventually becoming benchmarked by the GFSI as more companies and countries worldwide implemented different food safety programs and standards. A single company with an abundance of customers in an international market could be made to comply with many different standards each year. As a result, there was a need to cross-standardize among such requirements and criteria. That is the reason international standard has been developed. Current international standards. There are many certifications and systems that integrate and build upon the HACCP approach. Another key international standard is ISO 22000, developed by the International Organization for Standardization, that is specific to food safety. The ISO 22000 standard is a food safety-specific standard that integrates the HACCP system as described by Codex Alimentarius, along with 3 other elements: interactive communication, prerequisite programs, and system management. ISO 22000 family of food safety management standards is made up of several standards, such as ISO TC 22002 prerequisite programs, and ISO 22005 traceability in the food chain. As per today, the 180 member countries of the World Trade Organization recognize the CAC standards as food safety policy that meets international expectations for food safety management. CAC standards are set forth in the joint FAO and WHO Food Safety Standard Program, Recommended International Code of Practice. General Principles of Food Hygiene, which highlights a HACCP approach to food safety.